Ezio, a Virginia-based company best known for its development of life-saving antidote injections to opioid overdoses, has taken on quite a bit of criticism as of late. The injector is called Evzio, and it guides its users through the process as it delivers naloxone to overdose victims. Since 2014, prices have risen from $690 for a twin pack of Evzio to $4,500. Experts say the price hike is way out of line with production costs to make Evzio, although the cost of injectable naloxone has been rising, doubling since 2009. Kaleo argues that due to the opioid crisis, demand for the product has gone way up, and by providing coupons to patients with private insurance, as well as distributing over 180,000 devices as free donations to first responders across 34 states, the pricing issue for Evzio is moot. The situation has been likened to that of the EpiPen and parent company Mylan, where prices have continuously risen from $100 for two EpiPens in 2007 to $609 for the same product in 2016. Tom, what do you think about this situation?
So this one kind of hit me personally a little more because I live in a condition of chronic pain and I don't use opiates as of now to control it. But in the future, as I get older and older, they might be something that I put into my routine somehow. And I actually didn't even know that they would have like an EpiPen. I had never even heard of that until I read this, where if you were having an opioid-induced overdose, that there's actually something. I didn't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They say the same way like it's an EpiPen. So kind of interesting that this is out there, but this is another case of money just deciding what happens again. This seems to be the case in not only medicine, all across the board, where when prices can be raised, they just do.
Yeah.
The prices just go up.
Yeah. As a moral person, I think that this is kind of horrible.
Especially, for the nature of the product, right?
Yeah. You would think, if you develop a sort of way to help people, and this certainly sounds like that was the mission.
Yeah, get this product available.
It seems totally counterintuitive to then take advantage of them by jacking up the price so that you're profiting like an exorbitant amount on each one sold. In the same token, this is the free market, and when you develop something that nobody else has developed, you have the power to charge whatever you want for it, and this is where that idea falls short. But I don't think that they'll be able to do this for much longer. I mean, it's once the technology is kind of created, it's only a matter of time until somebody else comes up with a lesser brand version of the same thing, and hopefully that'll help regulate and stabilize because competition, is the savior here.
Totally agree.
Okay, number 7. Following a violent protest to the planned speech by Milo Yiannopoulos, sorry for butchering Yiannopoulos, at UC Berkeley on Wednesday night, February 1st, President Donald Trump took to Twitter to issue a foreboding statement. The tweet, which was posted the following day, reads, quote, "If UC Berkeley does not allow free speech and practices violence on innocent people with a different point of view, no federal funds, ? End quote. According to UC Berkeley's website, the university received $370 million in federal research funds during the 2015-2016 fiscal year. Although university researchers generally believe the president would have a difficult time following through with his social media thread, many speculate that this could have a chilling effect on, quote, the willingness of university scientists to pursue certain types of research, end quote.
So this
is a sticky one.
A little weird.
Yeah.
Like, what Donald Trump tweeted, he probably can't even follow through with, which is the case again here. This is what they're saying is like, he won't even be able to do this. But it's also interesting to think that he's saying that he's going to cut research funding when this is a protest of something has nothing to do with what those scientists are researching.
Right.
There seems to be a detachment there, right?
Yeah. Total.
So he's just saying like when your kid does something bad, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to take it away. We're just going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not really the way to go about this situation.
Yeah, I agree. On the one hand, I don't disagree with what he's saying up until the last 3 words.
Yeah,
right?
like you can't be doing this, but then to say cut funding, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like for him to issue a statement on this particular event, I don't condone violence at all.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Nobody really does. I think it would have just been way more classy to address it and just say, just the first part of it, right? If UC Berkeley does not allow free speech and practices violence on innocent people with a differing point of view, I won't tolerate it, or something to that effect. Like, you don't have the authority to take away research grants from scientists who were probably not even at the violent protest. That just doesn't make any sense. And I don't know. I just still feel like it's a weird thing that the president uses Twitter as his primary form of communication. I just think that's so bizarre.
Tweets random things out. It is kind of crazy.
Yeah. We'll be following up on this a little bit more once we get to the longer topic for the show. Not this exact particular thing, but more or less in the same ilk.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think that they're saying that these scientific research are lumped into these protesters somehow. How they're all related in some way.
Anyway, yeah. Number 8. Have you ever felt enraged by listening to someone chew food with their mouth open? If so, you probably suffer from an affective sound processing disorder known as Misophonia, which literally translates to hatred of sound. While many might brush this off as being overly sensitive, a recent study by Sukhbinder Kumar and colleagues suggests that the angry or anxious response is linked to increased activity in certain parts of the brain. By using MRI scans, the scientists were able to determine that misophonics have higher activity in the anterior insular cortex, a part of the brain involved in emotional processing, when exposed to trigger sounds such as chewing or breathing noises. On the contrary, brain activity in the same region normalized when exposed to neutral sounds such as rainfall and unpleasant sounds such as a person screaming.
This one's kind of an interesting one. I have a lot of personal experience with this one.
So do I.
Whereas my girlfriend could be fast asleep. I could be watching something on my phone, rolling around, making all kinds of noises, and she just sleeps. She can sleep anywhere and is fine with it. But if I were to eat a pretzel or two across the room, she's been known to wake up and literally ask me, "What are you doing?" Like why? Like, there's got to be something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's like what her body's feeling like.
Yeah.
And where all those other noises, she's fine with blocking out, but it's just that chewing noise for some reason has quite a profound effect on her.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's kind of weird, because whenever she would bring it up, I'm like, whatever, like, you're just stop.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to eat a pretzel, But there's some sort of, they're showing that in parts of the brain there's increased activity when they're exposed to these sounds. Yeah. So there's some sort of connection there.
I read this story and I immediately realized that I must suffer from this also, because same sort of deal. Kayla, my girlfriend, and I have been playing video games together upstairs, and she got it like very recently. She just has gotten into like chewing gum, and
it drives you crazy.
I want to put a gun in my mouth. Like we're sitting there and she's chewing the gum, and like I don't even know how to like bring it up, because it's like that's so mean for me to just be like, stop chewing gum, like that doesn't even make any sense to say to a person. But by the same token, it drives me insane, like totally insane, to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna get up and leave the room, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about it before. It probably doesn't have anything to do with like evolutionary type thing. Like, this isn't a protective measure. I think it's just a thing that you perceive that kind of just get weird feedback and you don't like it.
Yeah.
Kind of like how some people see like pictures of like those holes. Some people freak out about that.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those things that your brain has a hard time taking in.
Yeah, I think it's similar to how I feel about what an allergic reaction is, right? Like, your body is just overreacting to something that's not really threatening, So that's just my 2 cents on it. I don't really know what I'm talking about ever, though. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, which is the most awesome name for a report ever, on January 13th, a Nevada woman who passed away in early September has been identified to have been carrying a strain of carbapenem-resistant enterobacteriaceae, or CRE. Which is a type of bacteria.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah. And this particular bacteria was resilient to all available antimicrobial drugs, right? So no antibiotics were working. The woman had been in and out of hospitalization in India after fracturing her right femur and contracting osteomyelitis, an infection resulting in bone inflammation, before returning to the United States for further diagnosis. Upon isolating and identifying the specific CRE bacteria, quote, the isolate was sent to the CDC for testing to determine the mechanism of antimicrobial resistance, end quote. And it was determined that, quote, the isolate was resistant to 26 antibiotics, including all aminoglycosides, excuse me. I should learn to read before I do a podcast. Aminoglycosides and polymyxins tested, and intermediately resistant to tigecycline, a tetracycline derivative developed in response to emergent antibiotic resistance, end quote. The report states that isolates capable of resisting all antimicrobials are still very uncommon, but many doctors and scientists agree that antibiotic resistance is a growing concern.
Yeah.
You sent me this one.
Yeah.
So
I was reading about this one, and it really kind of struck me as this is kind of crazy and important. Like, there's strains of bacteria out there that we can't fight now. They've adapted, like this has happened.
Yeah.
Like, this is a legitimate case where the woman died because they couldn't find a way to fight the bacterial infection.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're throwing antibiotics at things all the time, so they have no choice but to adapt and evolve. So it's kind of scary because, I don't know, whenever I thought about the doomsday, why this one sort of stuck out to me personally, I would always think like, something like bacteria or something wipes out the world. Not like crazy zombies or anything like that, but something kind of scary like this. We cured people for a long time fighting things with antibiotics, and now we don't really have a good way to do this.
Yeah.
To things like this. It's kind of scary that things like this are existing right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this just further solidifies why we need to do research in the fields of biology and chemistry and figuring out, ways to combat the ever-evolving problem
of the antibiotic resistance.
Yeah, exactly.
So, the CDC's research is important.
Yeah.
Very important.
Very important.
This shit is... Ugh. Yeah.
So the other thing I'm thinking is, this goes back to the previous news story about food distribution.
Mm-hmm.
When E. coli outbreaks happen and people get sick from that, it's because the distribution methods cause these fast food chains to get bacteria in certain crops that they use for their foods, and it spreads amongst different territories, right? So if we didn't rely on that method so much, then maybe we have a better sort of chance against not letting this kind of outbreak happen.
Get worse.
Yeah,
right?
or get worse. And the other thing is, it's a rare thing now, but it could continue to get more sticky in terms of the situation. And that isn't going to, it's not going to kill everybody right away.
Yep.
But it could make things that are easy to deal with harder, right? So like appendicitis or, things that we have a very simple time.
Yeah, doing the procedure and fixing it. Now, this could be, this could be very worrying where you get a small infection or something like that, and now we can't deal with it.
Yeah.
So it would lead questions to any and all other procedures you get into.
Yeah. The other thing is that poor woman, right? She
They're
broke her leg.
There's nothing we can do. You broke your leg, and now you got this thing.
Seriously, she broke her leg. Her leg bone inflamed, which must have been just totally incredibly painful. That's horrifying. And then to be told, I'm sure they probably didn't tell her directly, but to be told that there's just no cure, right? Your best option is we're gonna amputate your leg. That's just I don't know. That's horrible. All right, number 10. During yesterday's Super Bowl 51, National Geographic aired a teaser for their upcoming new series, Genius. The promo depicted Albert Einstein, played by Jeffrey Rush, delivering a violin rendition of Lady Gaga's 2009 single Bad Romance before turning to the camera and making his signature silly face.
Huh?
According to the Deadline report, Genius will be NatGeo's first ever scripted series and promises to be, quote, an anthology drama telling the stories of the world's most brilliant innovators, end quote. The series will premiere on April 25th, 2017. Tom, did you see the advertisement?
Yeah, I actually did. I
Okay.
saw it while I was in the bar. Saw it live while it was happening.
Nice.
And I also saw a teaser of it before I saw it. And first thing I thought was like Lady Gaga and Einstein. I was like, that's a stretch. But I mean, I get what they're saying. You know, it's like a metaphor, like the bad romance kind of thing, where it's just like.
Well, I think they did it because she did the halftime show.
Yeah, she did the halftime show.
Yeah,
so that was like the whole point of the advertisement.
Yeah.
But I was trying to justify it at all, but like.
I didn't
I
put
don't
two and
know.
two together until today with that, where I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
that's why they did that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a weird choice for the advertisement, but looking at kind of the extended trailer you and I watched before, looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So besides any weirdness or anything of the actual advertisement, the show looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea of geniuses and exploring like these people's minds and their lives it's very worthwhile, and you can learn a lot from these people's lives.
Yeah. So to be clear, I think it's going to be a TV show series,
Yep.
right? Where it's going to be, season
by week,
1.
yeah.
Each episode, will follow a particular scientist or innovator or whoever. So kind of like American Horror Story, where like the first season is going to be about something,
and then,
the next season is not going to be connected to that per se. It's going to just follow a different person, probably. I think this is interesting. I think that this would be a cool thing for you and I to cover.
Yeah, so we're going to watch it when it's live. And
Yeah, April 25th, if everything's a go, we'll do probably a live reacts video to it.
right after it.
So you can tune in and join us for that if you're so inclined. Of course, more details will come when it gets closer to the date.
Also, I kind of get this crazy omnipotent feeling when I look at the Einstein actor and like actually feeling like I'm looking at Einstein. It gives me like some weird feelings where I'm like, holy crap, like this was actually happening.
Yeah, Jeffrey Rush is awesome.
Yeah,
so
good actor, yeah.
definitely. Cool. All right, so that wraps up the top 10 news stories.
Yeah, so if you have a particular story before we do next week's, you can send it our way via email or...
Yeah, we should roll through all this stuff, actually. I should have said this at the top. We would love to have you guys participating in the show. So if you see a news story that you would like for us to cover, feel free to link us to it, either in the comments section of where you're watching this video or by sending it to us via email, which is our email is trèScimail@gmail.com. All that stuff will be kind of in the comments or in the description of this video if you're watching it on YouTube.
Yeah, these just happen to be our 10 stories that stuck out to us as interesting that we sort of saw.
Yeah.
But if you saw other ones that you want to discuss or learn about, just throw them our way.
We're happy to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, the other thing is we definitely want to continue evolving the show with your feedback. So please let us know how we're doing.
Yeah, what you would like us to do, anything. We're open to any suggestions.
Definitely. All right.